Penguin Random House Audio presents A Decent Ride by Irvine Welsh. Read for you by Tam Dean Byrne.
Part 1. Pre-Bawbag Innocence. Chapter 1. Taxi Days. "You'll never guess where I had in my cab the other day," Juice Terry Lawson explains, his solid build contained by a luminous green tracksuit. His luxuriant corkscrew curls lash wildly in the gale that slaps up against the side of the Perspex barrier, winding from the airport concourse to a bank of parked taxicabs. Terry stretches, rips out a yawn, sleeves riding up to expose gold chains at the wrists and 2 forearm tattoos. One is of a harp that looks like an egg slicer, with Hibernian FC and 1875 scrolled above and below. The second is of a fire-breathing dragon, which offers the world a lavish wink, inviting it in winding letters beneath to "Let the juice loose." Terry's mate, Doheed, a thin, asthmatic-looking man, gazes blankly in response. He sparks up a fag and wonders how much of it he can suck back before he has to deal with the approaching planeload of passengers, jostling their luggage-laden carts towards him down the enclosed ramp. "That cunt off the telly," Terry confirms, scratching his balls through the polyester. "Where's that?" Doheed mumbles, sizing up the piled suitcases of a huge Asian family. He's willing a distracted man who struts behind to overtake them on the ramp, so that he won't have to load the many bags into the cab. Let Terry get that one. The man wears a long cashmere coat, open over a dark suit, white shirt and tie, with black-framed glasses and, most strikingly, a mohawk haircut. The man suddenly sprints ahead of the pack, and Doheed's spirits soar. Then he stops dead and looks at his watch as the Asian family trundle past him, all over Doheed like a rash. "Please, please, quickly, please, please," a cajoling patriarch calls, as buckshot rain suddenly lashes against the Perspex. Terry watches his friend struggle with the cases. "That's stand-up boy on Channel 4. He was riding that bird, what's her name, tidy fucking body on it." He traces an hourglass, then steps up snugly against the Perspex barrier for shelter. But as Doheed strains and grunts with the cases, Terry regards the bespectacled man in the long coat, his incongruous hair blowing everywhere in the wind, fingers delivering heavy number punches into his phone. Terry recognizes him from somewhere, a band perhaps, then sees that he's older than the haircut suggests. Suddenly a cowed associate appears, blonde hair shorn above a tense face, cautiously standing alongside him. "I'm so sorry, Ron. The car we had ordered broke down." "Get out of my sight!" The punk businessman, for this is how Terry now thinks of him, barks in an American accent. "I'll take this goddamn taxi. Just have my bags delivered to my hotel room." The punk businessman doesn't even make eye contact through his pink-tinted lenses with Terry, before climbing into the back of his cab and slamming the door shut. His shamed associate stands in silence. Terry gets into the cab and keys the ignition. "Where is it you're gone, Chief?" "What?" The punk businessman looks over his light reactive glasses, into the back of a mop of curls. Terry pivots round in the seat. "Where do you want me to take you to?" The punk businessman is aware that this corkscrew-headed taxi driver is talking to him as if he, the punk businessman, is a child. "Fucking Mortimer. Can't see to anything. Puts me through this BS." His hand tightens on the straps of the cab. He swallows tightly. "Balmoral Hotel." "The Immoral. "Good choice, mate," Terry replies, his mind spinning through the database of the sexual encounters he's enjoyed there, usually during 2 discrete periods on the calendar. There was nothing like the International Festival in August and Edinburgh's Hogmanay for adding garnish to his basic diet of scheme minge and jaded porn performers. "So, what line of work is it you're in?" Ronald Checker is not used to being unrecognized. An influential property developer, he is also a reality TV star, known widely for his successful show The Prodigal. The scion of a wealthy Atlanta family, the Harvard graduate had followed his father's footsteps into real estate. Ron Checker and his father had never been close, this fact making him utterly mercenary at utilizing the old man's extensive contacts. Thus, son became more successful than father, breaking out of America's Sunbelt states to go global. Ron decided that he would pitch a TV show to the networks, positing himself as a southern, youthful, punkish version of Donald Trump, who had enjoyed success with The Apprentice. A designer friend gave him the mohawk look, and a researcher at the network coined his catchphrase, "Business takes balls." Now The Prodigal is a 3rd-season globally syndicated show, and Checker knows it screens in the UK. Uneasily, he asks the cabbie, "Have you ever seen The Prodigal?" "No live, but I ken what you're talking about," Terry nods. "That smack my bitch up was controversial, aye, but there's some birds that like that. A bit of rough action, if you ken what I mean. No that I'm sexist or nought like that. To me, it's ladies' prerogative. They demand, you supply. It's what gentlemen do, but mate?" Checker is finding it difficult to understand this cabbie. All he can do is respond with a gruff,
"Yes." "You a married man yourself, mate?"
Unused to being talked to with such presumption by a stranger, this common Scots taxi driver, Checker is thunderstruck. About to respond with a terse, "Mind your own business," he recalls how he's been urged by his PR team to try and win hearts and minds after the Nairn fiasco. As part of the development process, a cove and a couple of listed cottages had been demolished, with a few rare nesting ducks relocated. Rather than welcome the golf resort, apartments, and service jobs it created, the natives had largely taken a dim view of the enterprise. Forcing his sense of violation into a gallows grin, Checker permits,
"Divorced 3 times.
While moved to think of Sapphire, his 3rd wife, with some rancour, then Margot, his 1st, in sharp, poignant pain. He tries to remember Monica, the fleeting middle incumbent, but can scarcely summon her image to mind, which both cheers and dismays him. All that flashes into his head is a grinning lawyer's face and 8 fat figures. For a man still a year shy of 40, 3 is a troubling statistic.
"Snap! Me a no!"
Terry buzzes in empathy.
"Can find them and gie them a good seeing to all right. That part's never been a bother,"
he sings triumphantly.
"Old Faithful here."
Terry pats his groin reassuringly.
"Hasn't had too many days off, I'll tell you that for nowt. Got to be done, but mate?"
Terry's grin expands as Checker enjoys the sensation of his back flush against the hard seat, which feels good after the executive planes and limos he is constantly in.
"See keeping ahead of them, but well, you ken the score. Worst thing you can do is fall in love. You kid yourself on, that's the bird you're going to be shagging exclusively the rest of your life. But we're no made that way, mate. So after a few months, the old roving eye and stiff cock come back out to play, guaranteed."
Checker feels the sides of his face redden. What newfangled Tophet had Mortimer cast him into? First an engineering failure in the Lear, which had forced upon him the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?